Now that we've finished prepping the panels, on wall 1, sections 1, 2, and 3 are the drawer unit itself. Section 2 is the shelves here. These are the fixed shelves that lock sections 1 and 3 together. We'll start that from the top with that top fixed shelf and then the bottom fixed shelf. That way the installation of the drawers can be installed, and that will give you the height for the center fixed shelf, because on different installations there are different heights of different drawers. So in each case you do the top fixed shelf, the bottom, and that will give you the middle height for that fixed shelf after the drawers are installed. Now that we've installed the top and bottom fixed shelf of the unit, we can install the top drawer just so we can get a height on where to put that center fixed shelf. Now after that top drawer is installed, what you do is you line up the top of the drawer face to see which hole that lines up with, and that's where you push in the push-in studs. You push them into those aligning holes with the top of the drawer face. That gives you the height for that middle fixed shelf. Now that the push-in studs are in and the drawer is removed, we can install that center fixed shelf into its position, lock it in, again with the ratchet screwdriver. That also adds to the support, and now the unit can freestand on its own. Now that the structure of the unit is completed, what we'll do is we'll make sure that it's placed in the correct spot 24 inches away from the adjoining wall, just so there's room for the double hang. If you want to measure that, just to make sure we have the 24 inches that we need. Okay, we're right on target. Next, what we'll do is level this unit up just so it stands correctly. It's very important, especially in a drawer unit such as this, to make sure it's perfectly leveled, just so when you install the drawers, the alignment of the faces is correct. You don't want it to look all jagged. Now that the unit has been installed, leveled and plumbed, secured to the wall, what we'll do is we'll start from the bottom, we'll install the toe kick. To install the toe kick, on the back side it has pre-drilled holes that you would attach the metal bracket onto. Now that metal bracket clips onto the white bracket that we installed earlier. Okay? When you go to push it in, it snaps together, so it makes a nice secure connection for the toe kick to connect in the front of the unit. Now that all the drawers have been installed, you want to recheck just to make sure that all the drawers are installed straight and that the unit is indeed plumb and level. So if right here they are all nice and even, so everything looks good, you can go on to the next wall. Now that we've completed wall 1, we're going to move on to wall 2, which starts off with section number 4, that upright panel, and then section 5 is the shelving for the double hang section, and then consecutive 6, 7, and 8 for the rest of the sections. We're going to install first the top fixed shelf for that double hang section. Again, using the ratchet screwdriver just makes your life a lot easier to use it. And that will be supplied to you in the welcome packet. And this is where the double stud, where it's very important that you installed it the correct direction, where it pushes in towards that first section off of the wall. That way when you lock it in, it pulls it against the washer end of the double stud. Next you install that middle fixed shelf, which you installed the screw-in or push-in studs at the center point on the vertical panel to divide it in half. Again, locking it in with a ratchet screwdriver. What you'll notice on the next section here, where the shelving unit is, we installed another toe kick kit because for this specific customer, they asked for a toe kick to be placed on the bottom of the shelving unit, which we normally install on the drawer units. Now we're installing sections 6, 7, and 8 onto wall 2. This top fixed shelf gets mounted onto the second side of the double pin, using again the adjustable screwdriver, locking all the cams in place. Next, he'll install the center fixed shelf which when we installed the shelf pins earlier and made them all at the same distance apart from each other, that gave us the center, just so everything looks nice and symmetrical when they put the adjustable shelves in. Lastly, we'll install the bottom fixed shelf. Again, the bottom fixed shelf has the second set of holes on the top of the shelf, just so when you're using the screwdriver, you don't have to reach underneath into that tight space. Okay, now in that last section, section 8, we're putting in the toe kick, just as before underneath the drawer section. Before we did this, again, you make sure that the unit is plumb and level. Helpful hint, on the bottom fixed shelf, that top hole, when you go to lock in the cam, it's reversed to lock it in. So instead of righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, it's lefty-tighty. So just make sure you turn that ratchet screwdriver to reverse to lock those in. Okay, now that both walls 1 and 2 have been completed as far as the framework, the drawers, and the adjustable shelving, what we're going to do is install the oval chrome rods for the hanging section. When you install the pole cups, they have 2 pins that are lined up with the hole system that's on the panels. What we do is you skip the first hole down from each fixed shelf, giving you clearance for the hangers. Now the poles, when they get sent to you, they're pre-cut, they're wrapped, that way they don't get all scratched up in shipping. Now that the installation of the closet material has all been completed, the drawers, the shelving, the hanging, the last step would be any accessories. It could be a valet rod, belt or tie rack, which would include their own separate directions. After all the accessories are completed and installed, the next would be housekeeping, cleanup. You gotta wipe down all the material, get all the dust off. After the cleanup of the closet is completed, as you're moving along, you might notice some cuts or scrapes. Sometimes does happen on deliveries. What we'll do is we'll fill it in with either a color stick or a color marker. Okay, just like this. Fill it in, rub off the excess material, okay, to blend it in. Now, as you're installing, if you do notice some things, you might want to take care of them at that time instead of waiting for cleanup. But cleanup is like a secondary chance to check anything else that you might have missed. Also, when you're cleaning up, earlier on when we were leveling and plumbing the system, we installed shims. This would be the time that we would cut off any excess material to get that out of the way, to just give it a clean install. Okay? At the end of the job, you'll have excess hardware. You might have some excess material or wood. That is common. We try to have some extra pieces just in case something was damaged where you wouldn't be able to fix it with a color stick. Any excess cardboard, plastic, wrapping materials, it would be a good idea. You bring some garbage bags with you. We wrap it up. We bring everything to the curb. Now that the installation and cleanup have been completed, before you take the customer for a final walkthrough, what you'd want to do is on the bottom cam shelves or any other areas where you might have had to secure it to the wall, if there's any screw heads exposed, we would use a colored fast cap just to cover up the holes, give it a cleaner, smoother appearance. Now that the fast caps have been installed, we'll install a company sticker giving all the company's information and phone number, either on the inside of a drawer panel or on the leftmost upright panel if there are no drawers on that job. Now with the final walkthrough with the customer, you'd actually go to each wall, so you'd show them wall 1 on the diagram, point out to them exactly what you've installed, that it matches the diagram, the 5 sliding drawers, show them that they actually physically work, 3 adjustable shelves, wall 2 has a double hang section, and then a shelving unit with 6 adjustable shelves that they can move on their own, and the 3 fixed shelves, and any accessories that were installed on that job. After you complete that walkthrough, the customer has to sign what we call a letter of satisfaction. They would fill this out and they sign it. This is a very important document. This is needed for final payment of the job and for your payment for the installation of the job.